Hello and welcome to Settings. This is the Worldwide People's Championship final for U2000. Iridium Blows, of course, is the current champion, going for his fourth defense. So pretty dominant in this division. Taking on Atsi. And something amazing, Iridium playing as Aeon. First time I've ever seen him play anything but Cybern. Not really sure if he's changed up during the last week or something. But Atsi, not really sure. Don't remember what he played last week. Going with Seraphim. Seraphim always a good faction on this map. Very strong navy. This week, we're definitely going to have a good U2000 tourney. U1700. At least we have we'll at least have a challenge for the Tempest. But the over 2000, we probably won't have that. Thanks for people who signed up. At least we had at least 2. We want to get at least 4 people. Kind of disappointing. I was hoping to see some of the better players play, but for whatever reason decided not to. Iridium Blows going 5 P-gens, whole bunch of mass extractors. We'll see how quickly he runs to the middle. Looks like he's got a very early engineer going to the middle. The ACU for Adzi going to the middle much faster than Iridium Blows. Looks like Iridium Blows is going to get 2 factories before he runs to the middle. Of course, the format here is best of 3. First map is chosen by Adsi. The last 2 will be chosen by Iridium. And Settings is extremely difficult to play. 1v1, just way too much mass. Let's see how this turns out. Looks like NG for Iridium is going to get to middle first. He's going to get some of the early mass. About 12,000 mass total. Nice Aurora here with the scout looking for any expanding engines. He's going to find Atsi's ACU. Here we see Iridium coming in. Got a couple NGs on the power spam, a couple NGs on land spam, still no air. Also, this is a very good engineer from Iridium Blows going to the beach spot. And what I've seen in the past, people going early bombers. Looks like early air factory here for Atsi. Just an interceptor and pausing because of the power problems. Atsi takes care of the engineer. And actually going for early point defense. This is probably a good move. It doesn't look like there's any artillery for Iridium Blows, so Atsi trying to claim all the middle mass for himself. He did choose the map, so he must have a pretty good strategy for it. But really good expanding engineers for Iridium. 1 to the back, 1 beach, 1 rock. 2 engineers for Atsi, 1 rock, 1 to the beach. But this right here is going to be a problem. Atsi forcing Iridium Blows back. And let's see how much mass Iridium will actually be able to get from the middle. Just a flow of auroras, no point defense, no artillery yet. Would expect him to switch one of these. Yeah, now he's got some arty coming out as well. There's also going to be a big land spam from Atsi. Already a Tech 2 mass extractor, a couple Tech 2 mass extractors. Only 1 just coming up for Iridium. So the first serious battle in this map looks like it's going to go to Atsi. It'll be an uphill climb for Iridium the rest of this game. And see how well he does with the Auroras. We know that his Mantis micro is quite good. It's pure aggression. See how well he can kite with the Auroras. All these engineers from Iridium Blows were denied. Might as well get that mass. A little bit of mass is better than nothing. Iridium now going straight for an upgrade. And this is a lot of land factories. 4 engineers on the land factory spam from Atsi. Still just that single interceptor. Scouting for any bombers that might take out. So very defensive with air. And absolutely no air for Iridium. Very disappointing because those bombers can be quite a nuisance. Taking out those expanding engineers. Also drops later on this map. Very effective. And looks like it's the range upgrade from Iridium. We'll be able to take out the point defense. And Atsi will begin to retreat. Both players massive Tech 1 forces. Now Iridium. There's a couple overcharges, not just straight up ACU gunfire. Point defense is finally down, but it definitely did its job. And you can see a couple more mass extractors for Iridium. That might make up the mass deficit he's going to have. And here we're going to have the first big fight. Atsy is going to retreat, which will claim a bit of this mass reclaim for Iridium. Still no Navy from anybody. 3 engineers in the power span. That's really going to be one of the more limiting factors. Only 2 for Iridium. Iridium 12 kills. Atsy full retreat. And these Auroras at range. And now this is going to be very good. Excellent bomb. First bomb of the game, 5 kills. Air could be very devastating against those Auroras. See if Iridium blows. He needs to get air factories up quick and win air. Iridium now retreating straight into a whole bunch of Seraphim Arty. And even with these bombers, Aeon still looks like they're going to win the middle. A lot of wrecks. We do see a little bit of flak from Iridium, but still no interceptors. Just a couple scouts, and now a Navy has been started by Atsy. Still the islands are completely free, and just scouts from both players. This bomber 5 kills, still alive. Iridium not getting yet another upgrade. Most likely is going to get the double gun. While Atsy here getting the gun. Also some Tech 2. So Tech 2 engineer, Tech 2 land factory from Atsy. Tech 2 point defenses. He's going to get a good defensive position in the middle. And looks like he's going Navy. Also quite a few Tech 2 mass extractors all over the place for Atsy. A couple for Iridium. Now Iridium with the double gun is going to move in. We see Tech 2 power and Tech 2 point defensive for Atsy. It'll be very difficult to break this for Iridium. These Tech 2 point defenses are going to get a lot of kills. And now it looks like there's plenty of flak here for Iridium to defend with. But these Ilshivas and Tech 2 point defenses mean this force is really not going to have what it takes. And now the gun is finished for Atsy, and Auroras versus the gun upgrade on ACU are just absolute cannon fodder. So far everything going well for Atsy. Iridium though, a couple good overcharges on Ilshivas. More power for Iridium. And these Auroras, this is what you got to do with them. Going around the side, he's going to find a Tech 2 naval factory. We already see destroyers on the way for Atsy. Iridium actually going quite low on health here. He's got to retreat quick. 71 kills and Atsy 23 kills. Very powerful ACU. Looks like yet another battle now has been won by Atsy. Now he's going to get huge amounts of reclaim. Here, minute 13, Atsy 12,000 reclaim. Whole bunch of mass in the bank. Only 7 for Iridium. 7,000 that is. We see any Tech 2 land yet for Iridium. Doesn't appear that we do. Of course, one thing about Aeon Mercies are always a good strategy given the lack of interceptors from both sides. Tech 2 air could be a good move for Iridium. Really, Tech 2 air is a good move at any moment on settings. Gunship's always very effective. It looks like Tech 3 land now for Atsy. Atsy wasting no time. Iridium blows getting an upgrade. Looks like it's a back upgrade, most likely shield. So let's see if that works out. Still just a massive Tech 1 land spam, and against it looks like there's going to be drops now for Iridium. That's a good idea. That's been very disappointing. First 15 minutes, still no drops. But now these Tech 3 tanks are going to be extremely powerful. We're already seeing Tech 2 shields and Tech 3 power plant for Atsy. A whole bunch of Tech 2 power as well. So he's way ahead in terms of economy. And now this Navy, it will be a problem, but here comes a drop for Iridium. He's going to have to do something special to come back in this game. Disappointing we don't see any drops from Adsy because he's had total air control over Iridium's base. Iridium now with shield. This could be a very good weapon actually against Tech 3 tanks, but we already see a whole bunch of Tech 3 tanks running into a pile of Auroras. This is massive Tech 1 Lancefam. This one already has 38 kills, 24 kills, 26. Iridium needs to start overcharging these. And once these tanks get past Iridium's ACU, looks like there was another overcharge. 2 tanks get past, they're going to absolutely devastate Iridium's forces. More Tech 3 tanks on the way. More overcharges, but here comes the Navy as well, so this is a massive amount to reclaim. Can't even see the map. Tanks taking on Tech 1 point defenses, now 63 kills, 50 over 100 kills between those 2 tanks. We are finally seeing some Tech 2 land, going straight to Tech 3. This tank, 75 kills. Tech 1 point defense looks like may have been too much. 71 finally dies. So between those 2 tanks, nearly 160 kills. Iridium almost losing his shield. Those are some good overcharges against Tech 1 Navy. Can't really reach the destroyer. And somehow the Tech 1 Lancefam together with ACU holding down a Tech 3 land. And more Tech 3 land units coming out. And now a chicken. Adsy going through the land stages very quickly, plus with the naval support. Adsy definitely knew what he wanted to do on this map, and this is pretty ridiculous. We're seeing that's a Tsar that's planned for Iridium. Iridium, meanwhile, getting Tech 3 engineers, just Tech 3 engineers map, and not having to retreat. And this will be huge amounts of reclaims for Adsy. Adsy already more than half the way done on the chicken. And this is what happens on Saturns with so much mass. You really skip all the stages very quickly. Iridium probably be a good move for him to get a GC, but he has absolutely no scouting. All his scouting has been for Adsy. Iridium now retreats, and his bases are going to be under bombardment from this cruiser. And the rest of this game, the Tsar has been started, Tech 3 power. But I expect this chicken to be done before the Tsar is. So that looks like the game ender at this point, unless something is done by Iridium blows. More tanks. It's really been the quick Tech 3 land. Completely turned the game. Iridium more overcharges. Tech 3 power. Now the chicken here just before it, 20 minutes 40 seconds. Chicken is finished. 147 kills on Iridium blows ACU. And now he's going to start the Tsar. We can see his strategy here. He's going to try to hold with his Tech 1 Lancefam and the ACU, but he's going to be taking on experimental, and that should be game over. Cruiser meanwhile 28 kills. Destroyer 31. And as soon as Iridium is going to see this, he knows it's going to be GG. Also Tech 2 gunships now from Adsy. And I should realize that game will be done soon. And you can see the gunships and the cruisers attacking Tech 3 power. And that Tech 3 power is no way to finish that Tsar. Some overcharges. Now Iridium is going to maybe perhaps try to dodge. Successfully dodges a couple of the big orbs. And unable to dodge that last one. Iridium goes down one game against Adsy. Of course, he was also down against Shepard last week, but was able to win the last 2 games. Let's see how well he does on the maps that he chooses himself. Hello and welcome to Fens. We're in the best of 3 here, second game, and the stage is set for Iridium to come back once again. If he can do it, he has changed faction to Aeon, and it looks like it wasn't just for that Saturns game, which is both exciting and a little bit scary, depending on how well he plays with them. Of course, he is probably going to have to change up his gameplay a little bit, but on Finn's, a map that he chosen, no doubt, because of his new faction. Aeon very much dominant on Finn's play, but taking on Atsi. And I think I didn't mention Atsi and Iridium are actually the two top players right now on the experimental ladder. So there's seasons on the FAF, and there's 4 different ladders, and experimentals are the top ladder. And there it's really not as much rating, but how much you play and how much you win. Of course, in the overall rating, you see a rating is a little higher. Actually, well on his way to 2100 in the global rankings. That's going to force us to open up that new division. Looks like Iridium going second air, very heavy on power. Looks like neglecting this Hydro. That's very interesting. Of course, he is not neglecting the reclaim, which is nice. Seraphim on this map, also quite a good choice. Looks like a huge land spam plan for Atsi. He will not neglect the Hydro, so very different builds from these two players. But Aurora, of course, will dominate the Artie. It'll take on, this is Ghetto, so Iridium blows, pulling out some very interesting builds. He's going to go with a Ghetto. He's going to be like TLO. Maybe Iridium is secretly TLO, though. TLO is German, so he's definitely not. But let's see if he can play as well as TLO with the Ghetto, who used to always also be an Aeon player. Would love these. That's definitely going to be a surprise for Atsi. He does have a 4th air, it looks like, but still not producing anything from that factory. The Ghetto is in, and now the interceptors are there as well. And of course, that's a very powerful gunship. Expect flak to come out soon. Still no flak. That's going to be a huge cost. And with the Ghetto, you really want to go after engineers. Looks like this interceptor is doing a very good job there for Iridium protecting the Ghetto. Iridium's got to avoid that flak though. Now he gets out with 16 health. Meanwhile, as that's going on, we do see Atsi's ACU being pretty aggressive with another land factory here. It looks like the flares are going to be dropped off, and the transport is going to be sent back. But this is a very good tank here from Atsi. He's going to deny the Hydro nearly complete. Plenty of pigeons though for Iridium. Iridium getting more land factories. So the 4 land factories and air. See, it's almost 5 land factories and air for Atsi, but Atsi also has to deal with these flares now. Flares are very vulnerable against tanks though. So an interesting move. It did some damage, but I don't think it really crippled Atsi beyond a comeback here. I think Atsi actually is in quite a good shape. There's a very good force coming up from the top. Quite a few of those are flak, but see what Iridium can do. Definitely wants to start kiting with their ores. And going from, looks like this is flak from Atsi. It's interesting. Going from Cybern style gameplay to Aeon is very different. Of course, Aurora is very slow, so it's harder to get as many units in different places on the map. And it's when you micro, you really gotta find out where your enemy is and not rush in. You gotta play with distances. With Cybern, it was the opposite. The more aggressive you are, the easier it is for you to play. It looks like air is now been completely taken over by Atsi. Atsi, you can say, almost has map control here, but totally air control. And of course, air control against Aeon is a very good position to be in. We should expect bombers coming out for Atsi here shortly. Looks like he's still making interceptors. Of course, he also has total recon. Iridium now making point defenses, actually multiple point defenses here, anticipating this ACU. Meanwhile, Iridium moving in with his ACU through the top. So Iridium's got to be very careful here. There is some artillery here with Atsi's ACU, and if he breaks through these point defenses, he is in very real danger of actually losing this whole tourney. Iridium moving in, point defense for Atsi. And Auroras are going to start taking out undefended mask extractors. We see this artillery going after point defense, denied by some Auroras. It was a very good move. Another already moving in for Atsi.
And up on top, Iridium runs into a point defense, now retreats. Nice position in some land factories here, very advanced land factories for Atsi, so he can get any kind of units that he wants here, flak or artillery or tank. Looks like Atsi will be forced back by these point defenses, but he can still walk around here, take out the Hydra, just to avoid those point defenses. Here we're going to see the Auroras. You got to do some kiting. He's definitely in position to win this battle with a little bit of micro. You just got to keep moving back. You don't want to get in range of this tanks. Iridium will move in with his ACU, and definitely don't want to be standing still like that. You can see a couple of those Auroras dive to artillery fire. Should never happen. And now the Hydro for Iridium in danger of getting taken out, most likely will be taken out. And now bombers for Atsi, and this could be very big problems. Looks like Iridium has lost his entire force. Might as well reclaim this. Still has absolutely no artillery up on top. And for whatever reason, Atsi going into the water instead of going in more of an assault. Another point defense going up for Iridium. He could have totally walked into Iridium's base there. Iridium 17 kills. And now Flak going to work. Actually, that bomber going after point defenses. One of the point defenses is down. And looks like more Auroras are going to come in to play defense. Taking out yet another Arty. And now this significant force from Atsi looks like he's going to win the battle here by Iridium's ACU. Iridium might as well walk in. This point defense nearly dead. A couple shots with the ACU will take care of it. You got to say the air control from Atsi, it might be challenged here, but it looks like he's got numbers. And more bombers coming in now for Atsi. Looks like absolutely no micro there from Iridium. And more bombers are definitely going after the point defenses. But this is a good stationary flag, already 4 kills. Map control though, definitely in Atsi's favor. Total domination here on the right side and on the top, also getting a victory. With plenty of build capacity for Iridium. He's got enough P-gens. And it appears more like a point defense creep now for Iridium. He's got his Hydro back and he's going to put a point defense to defend the Hydro. Iridium though fighting here, 28 kills. Doing a pretty good job. Got to be very careful. We do see a Navy now started by Atsi. Atsi out of the water. A little bit disappointing the ACU from Atsi. I think could have been a little more aggressive. Could have got more kills. Only 6 kills. And now more bombers for Atsi. Now it looks like the Auroras, without support of the ACU here, the Auroras are beginning to make the presence felt here on the bottom side. And here we're seeing bunches of Aeon units getting taken out. This is exactly what Atsi needs to do. But now suddenly it looks like Iridium might turn the tide here, and there's quite a bit of reclaim. Here in minute 12, Iridium with 3,000 reclaim. Atsi also 3,000 for very similar economies. And now it looks like up on top now Atsi is going to rendezvous with a pretty massive land force. Going to another assault. More point defenses coming up for Iridium. And Aurora is now moving in. Are going to try to take out these land factories, take out the flak. Still under heavy fire from Atsi's bombers. And Iridium is going to find this naval factory, which is making submarines. That's really going to make water very dangerous for him. And now looks like the point defense has been completed for Iridium, very important one. And appears that was a power storage taken out by Atsi. But this flak now with 7 kills, looks like all bombers. Iridium wasn't paying attention. I'm assuming he just reclaimed that naval factory, which was a very good move. That means there aren't going to be any submarines, so he can still walk into water anytime he wants. Still just a Tech 1 ACU reclaiming quite well, taking out the Hydra. So So good moves, very even game. Better ACU play for Iridium, but this air domination for Nazi has been quite good, and also he's had better map control most of this game. And I think once Iridium figures out Aurora Micro a little better, he'll be a lot more dominant. But more bombers there from Nazi. It's really difficult to play. All those bombers right above you, especially Zayon. This battle not quite even, but if you let tanks get this close to your Auroras, they are going to die. Iridium now 35 kills, gets back out of the water once again. Looks like a Hydra is going to be rebuilt. At least there will be an attempt. Also a point defense planned. Iridium 36 kills, which is going to keep getting better and see. It's a very strange arrangement of units here. Looks like a small force of Auroras, and Spirits are going to come and help Iridium's ACU. This could be very timely. I think he could still be fighting. He's at 7,000 health. Might as well take on that force. I think he definitely could. And now some really nice arty from Adsi, taking out the point defenses. More bombers for Adsi. And this flag here now with 8 kills. Looks like he's going to get a couple more. Total of 10 kills. But those bombers targeting the point defenses of Iridium. Iridium now needs to take out that point defense as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be very good defense for that Hydra. The Auroras, once again, getting a little too close. And one thing to note, nobody going after these islands. A ghetto would be nice from Iridium to take those out. Now Iridium runs into the point defense, needs to avoid that. 38 kills. And at this point, it's very unclear who's going to win it. Very even battle here, minute 17. It's been mostly point defenses for Iridium trying to survive, and his ACU doing a lot of damage. Also denying that naval factory has really kept him in the game. 42 kills for Iridium. Adsi 22. Adsi's ACU has been really out of the game the last 10 minutes. He had very good opportunities early on, but lately he's just been running around point defenses. Now we are seeing a pretty good air force from Iridium. Not too many bombers anymore. Iridium, 49 kills, continues to kill Tech 1 tanks. Would love to see Adsi just get a naval factory somewhere else, where Iridium can kill with ACU and send some submarines here in the back and just end the game. Might as well take that risk, otherwise Iridium now is going to get all this reclaim. He's got pretty significant Aurora forces now on both sides. Well, now Adsi's ACU is going to try to do something about it up on top, but on the bottom, with a little bit of micro, this Aurora force could be very nice. Iridium 51 kills, continues to hit the factories here, denying the Hydra. And this flag now 11 kills. Iridium taking out the radar. That was a very good radar for Adsi. Adsi going yet another assault here on the bottom. And another great bomb. That's a 9-kill bomber. As soon as Iridium gets air control, and I think he has a chance to deny this air factory. Also has a lot of good interceptors. I think his Auroras are going to begin to make progress. A couple of these tanks I think are a bit lost. There's really not much they can do. Iridium, 59 kills. It's been a huge nuisance for Adsi. In terms of teching, we've seen absolutely nothing. First 20 minutes, no Tech 2 mass extractors, no Tech 2 factories, no Tech 2 ACUs. Adsi's ACU, though, always away from where the fight is. Iridium now getting an upgrade. See what that is. And our total air domination looks like from Iridium. Etsy, for whatever reason, has paused all of his land factories as well as air factories. He's got power problems now, rebuilding power. So that's a huge problem for Etsy. And that's really been good work from Iridium denying this Hydra. Looks like the Hydra is going to be rebuilt once again. Iridium. I'm not really sure what the upgrade that he got. Doesn't look like it's Tech 2. Could be one of the guns. Now the Auroras with numbers appear to be gaining the upper hand here. And with the factories for Etsy on pause the last couple of minutes, he's really been running out of tanks in the battlefield. Now I don't know if Iridium really should be running into this ACU here, killing off all the tanks. Iridium 63 kills, back in the water. There really should be a submarine here, minute 22 from Etsy, one of these engineers in this position. And it looks like Etsy once again now 30 kills, goes into the water, is going to get the gun. The gun would have been very nice for him a long time ago. Looks like that's enough power for Etsy. And we haven't seen much air or bombers, so Iridium's forces getting quite large. Actually, I think he should have no problems winning this battle here on the bottom, just moving up. On the top, of course, as soon as Etsy gets that gun, it's going to be much more difficult. Iridium now 68 kills, denying the Hydra once again. I think he's in a position to kill a factory as well, with no more air production for Etsy. Minute 23, Iridium 11,000, nearly 12,000 reclaim. Etsy only close to 8,000, got some power problems because he's getting that gun upgrade. But definitely a reclamation advantage for Iridium. That's because he's been under attack. You can see this has been a very clean side of the map. This engineer is doing a good job. And it looks like he's going on an assault here through the top, as Iridium gets 73 kills. That's nearly done with that gun upgrade. It's cost him quite a bit. We've been power stalling the last couple of minutes. And looks like Iridium is going on assault on both sides. Taking out multiple factories. One thing to note though, as he does have pretty good power here in the middle and here on the right side, but this is in danger of getting ran over by Iridium's units. Now it looks like Iridium has gone Tech 2 air with some gunships, and that's a very bad sign for Etsy. He's got absolutely no air production, and with Tech 2 air over him, this could be a sign of game over. He does have the gun, but he really doesn't have too many things to shoot at it with. Iridium full health here, 82 kills. And now the gunships are going to attack Etsy. Is going to call GG. I think really Etsy had this game won, at least on 2 occasions early on with that ACU. If you would have walked around the point defenses, walked in before this point defense was finished, it would have been game over. And also getting a naval factory like this about 10 minutes ago, it would have also finished it. But Iridium below survives, and with Tech 2 air, ties up the series 1-1. Hello and welcome to the third game of this best of 3. It's 1-1, and Iridium going back to what he knows best, Cybern on Badlands. So here he's told me he hasn't actually lost here. It's very difficult to play against him on this map. Etsy once again with Seraphim. And I believe this is where he won the previous. He defended last week against Shepard on this map. Shepard wasn't very happy. I think he went for a couple of ghetto snipes a little too early, which did not work out. But Iridium with that massive Cybern spam, very effective here. Etsy going second land. Iridium looks like he's on the move with ACU to the Hydra, so not really sure if that's what he does every time, but could work out. Quite a bit of early power instead of build capacity. See a single engineer to the Hydra here for ATSI. But of course with that early power, and looks like it's all going to be land, still no air, land for Iridium. But Cyber and Aeon are two really good factions to get good with. With these two factions you can cover most maps, you can get an advantage. So if you know which map you're playing on and you're good with both Aeon and Cyber, be quite dominant. Looks like actually an air factory here for Iridium, changing things up a little bit. It looks like mostly land swept, no, an air factory as well for ATSI. So looks like some first kills here for some Manti playing defense. Taking out a Tham. Also a Tham on the right side. And of course with these Manti, much quicker than the Aurora. And you want to push those as hard as you can whenever you can. And here we got some flying eyes. The air scout from Cyber. So you'll find out the position of ATSI's ACU. Iridium still just sitting back at base. Good point defense for defense, taking out or going after the Hydra. So not too much rating yet from either player, but these tanks getting quite deep from ATSI. Have a chance to take out this engineer. Looks like they will. Pretty big loss of economy. Also Manti from Iridium getting behind ATSI's base, and one Mantis here getting quite deep, but it actually might kill a few engineers. I think that tank got the wrong order there. Now this Mantis could be a huge nuisance. And now we do see a response. And now bombers for ATSI. Looks like one killed, taking out an engineer. Looks like it's one working on the Hydra. And yet another bomber from ATSI, another engineer killed. Interceptor now for Iridium. But so far these raids from Manti have been very good for Iridium. But also this tank for ATSI away in the back. So both players here come at minute 6 doing pretty good pressure on each other's bases. But we got to say ATSI, quite a few more mass extractors. He did a lot more capturing of the map with his ACU. Although here in the back, ATSI in a pretty big disadvantage. Though this tank for ATSI can do a lot of damage if it doesn't just sit there. ATSI now moving up on the left side. Gonna see some battles through the middle. Looks like numbers for ATSI. And these Mantis still a very good force, not going anywhere. And looks like Iridium with pretty significant force here, but very even numbers and more units being pushed into this position. Actually, both players push it into this middle position. Whoever wins this is going to get a huge reclamation. And looks like ATSI has left these 4 mass extractors that he just captured. Iridium moves in, is going to take out a couple, and this force now moving in behind ATSI's base, taking out more mass extractors. And here it actually looks like it's not very clear. It looks like ATSI is going to pull back a little bit. And that's just ridiculous. Looks like it's going to be 4 mass extractors killed. ATSI on the case very quickly. He's going to try to get these rebuilt. But actually this force is not ready to die yet. Killing the units that are chasing it. And he's going to take out this engineer. So this raiding group so far has been the best part of Iridium's game. And actually it looks like Iridium is going to take over the middle. Already got engineers reclaiming and getting point defenses. But this tank, very disappointing. Very good position, but not killing. And it looks like now a push from ATSI ran into a point defense, probably lost a little too many units, and now too many Manti, and that's a big loss now for ATSI. He's going to have to deal with a massive Mantis push through the middle, and we're going to see these engineers for Iridium. Here coming up minute 10, he's already got 2,000 reclaim, he's going to get quite a bit more. Atsy actually 2600, so a little more for Atsy. And once again, Iridium with these Manti, excellent rating. Attempt at a raid from Atsy, but runs into a point defense. And more tanks here in the back, snuck in by Atsy, not doing their job. And now it looks like Iridium is going to push through the middle. He's going to get into Atsy's base, and very difficult to play when your base has so many Manti in it. It's still possible, but you are beginning to get into survival mode. It looks like another attempt at a push from Atsy, but Iridium is going to cut that out. In terms of upgrades, we haven't seen too much. Tech to land might be a good idea for Atsy with Seraphim against all those Manti. We are seeing, looks like a push straight to Tech 3 for Iridium. He's going to skip Tech 2. Now finally that tank going to work. Actually, a couple of these tanks need to do a little more raiding. Because this force right here from Iridium, absolutely brutal. 7 kills, 8 kills, 5, 4, right before they're going to die. So did so much good work for Iridium. It looks like one unit here in the back still alive. And yet another pretty large force from Iridium now on the right side with the Manti. On the left, Iridium looks like he has enough units to win. And now making loyalists. Iridium at minute 12 with Tech 3 land. I think as soon as Atsy sees those, he is going to know it's pretty much over. Atsy does have some Ilshivas, so suggesting those, he might have already had them. Looks like right here, not too much build capacity, but they are making their presence felt. Also some Tech 2 point defenses in the middle. That should be quite good. We do see some loyalists going into the middle. Now we are seeing these Ilshivas pretty well spread out by Atsy. But Iridium attacking on so many different fronts. And it looks like he might win the left front. That's going to be very bad. And these Manti, one thing Iridium does very good with Siren, he will run past the force that you're trying to block him with and then start attacking your units. Instead of sitting back and fighting, he just outruns you with Siren. And Atsy's going to have to get some really good overcharges on those loyalists if he has any chance. The loyalists are going to get on the outside of here. Quite a few good Tech 2 point defense, so this is quite secure for Atsy. But this left side is an absolute disaster. And also in the back here. And now more loyalists. No Tech 2 power, yet not one Tech 2 power. And these tanks right here, this is what happens when Atsy is just so busy fighting and trying to survive. He's got good units in good position. Could be creating all kinds of problems, but he's not. One kill on the Ilshiva. Got a couple of these loyalists taking on a point defense. And now it looks like a counter push here on the right side. Some artillery trying to take out that point defense. Doesn't look like they'll be successful. But there's a couple of Ilshivas here. They need to be microed. Atsy's busy taking on loyalists. Needs to get a couple overcharges. Actually quite a few loyalists here. He needs to overcharge soon or he's going to die. That was a good overcharge. 22 kills. And Atsy, minute 16, goes down to Iridium Blows. He's actually very dominant on this map. So not a surprising result. Another good comeback for Iridium Blows. So he's defended his championship 4 times now.